I guess it's pretty obvious that I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. Yeah, I have too many of them. And I actually have more that I ordered on the way. I might have a little problem with Spider-Man Funko Pops. And that's not even my entire Spider-Man collection. You know, I got action figures, too. This is Electro and a few other stuff that's all kept around me. Yeah, it gets a little overwhelming sometimes. So let's get this video started where I reflect back on multiple Spider-Man movies with the trilogy that made Spider-Man my favorite superhero. This all started in the year 2002 when 5-year-old me watched a movie where a man swings around New York. I absolutely loved this movie when I was a kid. You know, Tobey will always hold a special place in my heart simply because he's the first person I ever saw suit up as Spider-Man. He's just great at being Peter Parker. He really portrays that awkward outsider vibe really well, and you kind of feel really bad for him how the other students treat him. Now, I can say the Green Goblin is a great villain. I absolutely love William Dafoe's performance. You know, some of it's kind of goofy now, but it's still just something about it that he portrays that kind of crazy villain really well. And I still like his really silly looking, but for some reason nostalgic looking costume that I cannot wait to see again in No Way Home. You know, I'm really glad that I upgrade to that Blu-ray set that you saw in that clip, because yeah, this has seen a lot better days. Yeah, this thing is kind of broken. I think it's just a bit scratchy. But I do love the disc. I don't know why. I just really like, there's something about them that I like. Spider-Man 2 is my favorite of the trilogy. I was a huge fan of Dr. Octopus. I still remember the action figures that came out for this movie, and the tentacles just would always get lost and never stay on. I think I still have the action figure somewhere with no tentacles. Alfred Molina just brought this character to life. He's just great in this role, and I really enjoy the train scene with him versus Peter Parker's Spider-Man. It's just really amazing. I also love how you just see how much people can kind of keep a secret for Spider-Man. I like that. It also has a really good exploration with Peter, who loses his powers in this movie. We kind of can lead to a really interesting exploration of Peter balancing regular life and spider life. You know, I really actually did not expect that I would be able to find my original Tobey Maguire action figure, because they're packed away. I didn't think I would find this. I found it when I was getting ready for Christmas. I found it in an old box of VHS that we had near all the Christmas decorations. I peeked in and I'm like, wow, perfect timing. I will say though, this is like the weirdest neck possible. I do like the articulation, how you can just kind of bend the fingers to create the web slinging. That's pretty cool. And also has really good articulation. Really good, as you can tell. Probably because I played with this a lot when I was a kid. So it's a little bit, you know, looser in the joints than it used to be. I don't know. I think this was Toy Biz that made this for the second Spider-Man movie. But I know they made a lot of them, so I'm not entirely sure which one this is, but it's still a really cool find. It's not the greatest film, but I still find some enjoyment out of Spider-Man 3. I like some of the story elements they have, and the villains are really cool. Okay, maybe I could live without the dancing scene from Tobey Maguire, but, you know, it's still something we still look back to it. But seriously, the main problem is it's actually just a little too much for this film. You know, it goes from New Goblin to Sandman, which has a connection to past movie because of Uncle Ben, to Venom. It's like, okay, so maybe focus on one, but we never get that chance. I will say, I like the scenes with the symbiote on Peter. I really like seeing this different side of Peter Parker, and we can really see how much the symbiote affects his personality in this film. I won't lie. When they never made a Spider-Man 4, I was a little bit disappointed. I really wanted to see more of Tobey Maguire's universe. And when they announced a reboot, I was not quite looking forward to it. But I did give the movie a chance. And after watching The Amazing Spider-Man, I thought it was just okay. It was a decent start for a brand new Spider-Man franchise. And one of the highlights was Andrew Garfield. He did a decent job portraying Spider-Man. I like that we see a lot of the scientific side of Peter. And he also had those witty comebacks to villains, which I think he showed his personality a lot more in this role. I like the villain in this film. Lizard I thought was okay, but I'm not a fan of his design, and it felt like too much at the end. We have a lot of other things, like setting up Spider-Man and him trying to find Uncle Ben's killer. So Lizard is more pushed toward the end, it felt. But I still thought it was okay. This film did its job. This was a reboot of the Spider-Man franchise, and I think they tried to make a new type of Spider-Man for a new generation. And I like some of the mysteries that set up in this film, about Peter's parents, what was going on with them. That was kind of cool. I can at least say, at least these DVDs are not scratched. I really should upgrade these to Blu-ray. Now, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, on the other hand, is not a film I really enjoy. Rewatching it recently, it's not as bad as I remember it to be, but I still distinctly remember being in the movie theater, watching it, being bored by it, and just not enjoying it. It suffered the same problem as Spider-Man 3. There's too much happening. And it was really hard for me to get invested in any of the villains or the story. There's lots of good elements in there, but it's just all crammed together in one film. The Green Goblin felt forced into the movie, when all we needed really was just a tease for that character. They did a great job introducing Harry Osborn, but maybe save that for a third film. We didn't need all of it in this film. I wanted more from Electro. Jamie Foxx did a great job, I felt, but he was hindered by the script, and I'm really excited to see his return in No Way Home. The best scenes came after the death of Gwen Stacy. We really get to see how much of an impact this has on Peter, and it ended up being one of my favorite parts of the film. In the end, it was trying to set up the future first and foremost, instead of focusing on making a great second film for Andrew, which is such a disappointment. Because I really do feel he has a great future ahead of him as Spider-Man if this film was a lot better. What did they do to the Green Goblin? Now, as every Spider-Man fan knows, this was a future that just never happened. Soon another reboot occurred. This time, Spider-Man entered the MCU because of a deal between Sony and Disney in Captain America: Civil War. I remember how excited I was when I heard the news. There's a lot of rumors leading up to this, but I was just really excited for Spider-Man again. And I can say, the moment that Tom appeared on the screen, he was Spider-Man. And ever since, he's done a fantastic job at Spider-Man. Especially his scenes with Iron Man are always a treat, especially in Endgame. That was one of my favorite moments. One thing I'm really shocked is, by looking back at it, I don't think I ever reviewed Homecoming. I really liked that film. Vulture was such a cool villain, and I really enjoyed Peter's journey to kind of understanding what it means to be the hero, and also the consequences that you can have if you just go right into trying to save the day. I did review Far From Home, and I'll put the link to that review in the description below. But yeah, I really enjoyed Mysterio. One of my favorite scenes was his illusions that he did with Spider-Man. That was such a good scene. That was Mysterio brought to life. And here's a look at the No Way Home pops I've gotten so far. I've got Doctor Strange, the integrated suit, which looks really cool, and the black and gold suit. I will say, the future looks bright for Spider-Man on the big screen. No Way Home is almost here. I'm really excited to see it. It looks so amazing, and it's the celebration of almost 20 years of Spider-Man on the big screen, and I cannot wait to watch it. Seriously, this movie has been filled with so many rumors, speculation, leaks. It's just been crazy. I'm ready for all that to end, and we can just all watch the movie and see whatever turns out to be true. Videos, you may have noticed, I did not mention the animated Spider-Verse movies or the Sony villain spin-off films. Morbius is coming up. So we have a lot of Spider-Man to look forward to in the future. So in the comments below, share one of your favorite Spider-Man memories, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.